Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast right now, so wherever you're watching it or listening to it, you can't watch a podcast, you listen to it, hit the subscribe button, get notified when new content comes up throughout the rest of the season. Get a little wrap-ups like I'm going to do right now, but little stories, little anecdotes, little nuggets I'll throw in as well. That's only exclusive for you podcast subscribers. So you want to get that, you got to subscribe in order to get that. So pretty simple. So the Yankees on this last leg of this long 10-game and 11 days road trip, with a 4-game showdown at Fenway Park. And again, just kind of crazy this way the scheduling worked this season. It's going to be the only second meeting against the Red Sox. Again, the Yankees hosted the Boston Red Sox to open the season back in April, but since then, no action between these two teams. Again, it's supposed to be one of the best rivalries in baseball again, and now we're waiting until almost mid-July for them to kind of pick this up. So this is kind of interesting day. And the Yankees have been playing a lot of games against their other AL East foes, such as Tampa, Toronto, Baltimore, and doing the right thing and getting a lot of wins against those teams because, again, it's just the best way to get, closest to get the AL East title, and that's just something the Yankees didn't do last season. We're doing a good job of it this season. Now, again, it took 2 out of 3 at Boston last time they hosted them at Yankee Stadium. This time now shifting the matchup, the rivalry to Boston. And this is kind of a weird series. Now they end up splitting 2-2, and but still the way they lost the last 2 games really left a pit in your stomach where, even to split, you almost feel like you kind of lost this in a way, and you gave Boston a little momentum, especially in the third game, the way they won that in the bottom of the 10th inning in comeback fashion, down 2 runs. So if the Yankees is kind of, you still, you really didn't lose any place in the standings. That's kind of the good part. I mean, the Yankees were like 14 games going into this thing, and since you split 2-2, Boston really gained any grounds standing-wise on the Yankees. But I think, just sort of psyche, momentum, moral victory, and so forth. I think Boston might have, bit the Yankees in the ankle a little bit on that one. And, the Yankees got to be a little concerned a bit with some of the starters. We mentioned this before the season, during the season, that, starters such as Nestor Cortez or even Jameson Taillon, you can throw Luis Severino in there. They're probably going to hit the wall at some point just with the innings limits because they don't have the stamina built up for a full season of work like someone like Garrett Cole would. And Yankees starting pitching been a little choppy a little bit, but we'll get into that as we break down these games. So the first game, the Yankees come in with their ace on the mound, Garrett Cole. Again, it's after splitting the Pittsburgh series, a brief little 2-game set, 1-1. And, of course, they put up ridiculous 16 runs in that game. So, at least the bats were warmed up coming to this one. And, of course, you have Cole on the mound. And Cole, for the most part, was good for this game. There's one little problem. His name is Rafael Devers. But, nevertheless, in the game itself, the Yankees got it going with Josh Donaldson, who's, starting to heat up with the bat a little bit. In the third inning, with a grand salami, puts 4 on the board. And then right after that, Aaron Hicks, who's also starting to heat up for the Yankees. So, 2 good little footnotes there. For the New York Yankee offense. Right after that, hits a solo shot. So at the point, the Yankees are up at that point of 5-0 very early in the game. But Cole does give 2 back. Again, that gentleman, Rafael Devers, hitting a 2-run home run in the bottom of the third, but still the Yankees ahead at the point 5-2. Trevino would add an RBI later after that, and up 6-2 in the 5th inning with a couple of runners on. Rafael Devers strikes again against Garrett Cole, this time a 3-run home run, closes the gap from 6-2 to 6-5. But fortunately for the Yankee, the bullpen rest of the way was pretty solid, including Clay Holmes. And a little interesting test for Holmes. This was going to be, obviously he's been closing games for the Yankees for a while this season, but this was going to be his first game on the mound in Fenway Park with the big rival and see how he would handle it. But he was pretty smooth there in the 9th and able to close the game out pretty easily for his 16th save of the season. And the Yankee took the first game 6-5 there. That brings us now to game 2 with Nestor Cortez on the mound against Connor Seabold. And the Yankees got to Seabold quite early. In the 4th inning, including that gentleman again, Josh Donaldson, hitting a 3-run home run overall on the board, putting a 4 spot pretty early on the board. And this game was a bit of a laugher for the Yankees. Now, they did have Nestor Cortez on the mound. He did surrender 2 runs himself in the bottom of the first, so kind of cut the lead from to 4-2 at that point. But the Yankee offense was clicking in there, even in the 3rd inning there with Joey Gallo. Hits a fly ball to right field, which probably would have been a home run in Yankee Stadium. Christian Arroyo, the right fielder, actually loses the ball. The ball drops on the warning track. Now the 2 runners are on. They scored easily. Now Gallo tried to hustle in what was going for the inside the park home run. The Yankees were up 7-2 at that point. So, you don't mind. Maybe at that point, it's not really a big deal to try it. Actually, he got gunned down at home, but it wasn't really a big deal. I wouldn't call it like a big F. Again, you're up 5 runs at that point. You got up to go for it. I'm not going to blame Gallo for that one. And the Yankees tacked on another run in the 4th inning, a home run by Matt Carpenter. His 9th of the season, so it's just incredible what he's been doing. Again, in his the brief moments and opportunities he gets with the Yankee offense. But unfortunately, Nestor Cortez again wasn't really effective. bottom of the fourth, serves up 2 home runs, one to Trevor Story, one to Bobby Dolbeck. But from the Yankee offense kept tacking on and really just needed the bullpen to go the whole way. Really, I'm going to say the star of the game was Lucas Lucky, giving the Yankees 3.1 innings of relief, with 6 strikeouts and only 1 hit. And, just to get that from a lefty in Fenway Park, that's pretty, spectacular, especially for, with the Green Monster, and it's so easy to hit a home run in left field there. A lot of times you don't want to put a lefty on the mound in Fenway Park, but Lucky quieted down the Boston offense, and the Yankees tacked on a couple of insurance runs, and they end up taking the second game 12-5. So if you're a Yankee fan and you're the Yankees, you're like, your eyes are bulging there. You took the first 2 games against the Red Sox. Again, they've been climbing in the AL East standings a little bit, not making big noise. But it's definitely a team you want to keep your eye on. Now you're kind of pushing them further down there in the standings. You're liking this, which brings the Yankees now to Game 3 with Jordan Montgomery on the mound against Cutter Crawford. And Jordan Montgomery, for the most part, was good in game, but you want to put the loss on this. But this game 3 was probably the shift of, you at least to say, in the series, and maybe the shift of the season, just the way it unfolded. Again, a lot of drama towards the end of the game. We'll get into all that before the game itself. Montgomery fell behind early. Gave an RBI single to Bobby Dolbeck in the second inning. But the Yankee offense finally did wake up thanks to Aaron Hicks in the 5th inning. That gentleman again, Aaron Hicks, hitting a home run in the 5th inning to tie the score 1-1. And it's just good news for the Yankees. Hicks had the grand slam in the second Pittsburgh game, had a home run in the first Boston game, and now hitting a home run here. So Hicks, you got 3 home runs in 4, across 4 games. So again, it's good to see Hicks finally waking up a little bit at bat. Again, him with Gallo and Donaldson. Those probably the 3 Yankee players who say lagging a little bit, not picking up their end, but now at least you see Hicks and Donaldson both kind of picking it up a little bit in there. It's really only Gallo's falling behind. We'll get into that a little bit. In the 6th inning, Yankees did go ahead, thanks to Anthony Rizzo hitting a double to score Gleyber Torres, and then with Rizzo on second base, Josh Donaldson following up with a single of his own. After that, to score Rizzo, and the Yankees taking a 3-1 lead. And at this point, you're kind of feeling good. You obviously looks like the Yankees got all the momentum. Jordan Montgomery's okay, not dominant, but okay, getting through it. And you figure with the Yankee bullpen versus the Boston bullpen, you kind of like the Yankees' chances closing out this game. But Boston would kind of ruin the night for the Yankees, and start a little bit with Rob Schneider, the former Yankee prospect. He was supposed to take over for Jeter, and it never really worked out. But he really ain't going to play anything. Nevertheless, he's with Boston right now. Hits a solo home run off of Jordan in the 6th inning to cut the gap, the 3-2. And then from there, Boone had to go to the bullpen, and Michael King was good for the most part. Now, the turning point would be in the 8th inning, I would say. Now, King had 2 outs in the 8th inning. Unfortunately, did serve up a double to J.D. Martinez, the center. Put J.D. at second base. And I guess Boston looking to, looking for a little speed there to tie the game. Ended up putting Jeter Downs on as a pinch runner in second base. And Jeter Downs, if you know the name Jeter, of course, named after the Yankee captain, Derek Jeter. But, for whatever reason, I guess Boston didn't mind that and still ended up drafting him and put him in their system. So Jeter Downs, I guess the product of Derek Jeter coming back to bite the Yankees in the backside. So Boone decided with Downs at second base and maybe Michael King tiring a little bit, ended up bringing up Clay Holmes to go for the 4-out save, which, it seemed Boone is not afraid to do that. And, Holmes didn't pitch the game before that and didn't really have too much problem on the first game. So, it wasn't really a bad decision. Fortunately, Holmes wasn't as sharp as it usually is. First walking Bogarts. And then after that, the bat of the game, you'd say, for this one would be against Alex Verdugo, the lefty. Now, with Holmes throwing the sinker, I guess they were expecting Verdugo to pull the ball. So they actually had IKF, instead of being in his normal shortstop hole, actually had him shaded over towards up the middle. And unfortunately, Verdugo, did a good small piece of hitting. Actually, went with a pitch to opposite field. Ball kind of chopped to the shortstop hole again. If the Yankees played a straight-up defense, kind of Fleffer would have been there to field it, and that would have been an easy ground up. But unfortunately, no one's there to man the hole. The ball got through, went to the outfield, and of course, Jeter Downs was easily, with 2 outs running on contact, able to score, tying the game at that point, 3-3. Combs did get out of the inning, but unfortunately, now you're looking at a situation where the save had been blown at that point. And now this would go until the 10th inning, where now the Yankees, this is where the tease was, because the Yankees put a couple of runners on the board. Now Trevino was the ghost runner at second base. Again, Higgy started the game. DJ LeMahieu a pinch hit for him, and then of course Boone had to go put Trevino in there for defensive purposes. But again, since DJ was the last batter there, in the 9th inning, I guess he became Trevino became the ghost runner there in the 10th inning. And Judge put the Yankees ahead with a double line shot to center field, put the game at the point 4-3. And then Anthony Rizzo against the lefty able to pull a ball to right field. Judge was on second. He was able to score easily from second base, and now the Yankees are up 5-3, and you're all giddy. It's like, wow, okay, they blew the lead, but they're going to come back and win. You feel good about that. Now, a little pivotal point of the game. Now, again, Rizzo in the inning was at second base from his double, and this is where I think he got a little too cute, and I'm not going to say he cost the Yankees this game, but with Stanton up at the plate, Rizzo tried to steal third base, which, again, you're not expecting him to steal. And he's been sneaky fast for the Yankees. I mean, there's been a situation where he's stolen runs just because you don't expect him to run. He would steal third base sometimes. Sometimes you see him just hustle and steal home, on a bad play in the infield. So he does surprise you a little bit, but I don't think there was any reason for him at this point to try to steal the base. He's on second base. You have Stanton up at the plate against the lefty. And the lefty was already giving up 2 runs. He figured, he's on the ropes a little bit. He's probably just about to collapse. Why help him out? And Stan at that point was 0 for 4. You figure he's due for a hit. He's probably going to hit the ball hard somewhere, and Rizzo will be able to score anyway. But unfortunately, Rizzo decides to go for third base. He's nailed out, and of course, Stan makes out. And it kind of it almost felt a little momentum shift as the fact that, the Yankees couldn't tack on another run there. Made a difference, may have not. But again, I think it was a bad move by Rizzo there, which then brings us to the bottom of the 10th. Now, interestingly, of course, Clay Holmes is already used for the 8th and 9th, so you see, he's done for the day. Now, instead of bringing Aroldis Chapman, who was available and technically the previous Yankee closer, actually Boone decides to go with Wandy Peralta, just to kind of shows you what, the faith they have in Chapman. And I like the move. I thought it was a good move, a smart move, just because, we've seen Chapman there many times on the mound at Fenway Park, just, sweat drenching down from him, and he looks like he's going to drown there with all the sweat, and he ends up blowing the game. So Peralta, I was totally fine with that. That was a good move, smart move. I'm not saying he's lights out, but he's a cool character. He doesn't get overwhelmed. He doesn't feel like he's pressured, even if it's like bases loaded, nobody out. He's kind of, you can still get out of the jam. He just kind of has that suaveness to him. So I like the idea. Fortunately, though, Peralta, not really effective. So Jared Duran, at this point, was the ghost run on second base. Now Rob Ruffsteiner, who hit the home run off of Monty early in the game, hits a single to left field. Now with 1 out. Jeter Downs, who again early pinch ran for J.D. Martinez in the game. Now he's in the game. Ends up hitting a single to right field. And now you have a situation with 1 out and runners on first and second with Xander Bogaerts, the tough right-handed hitter up at the plate. And this was probably another point of the game for you're a Yankee fan or if you're the player who involved in this, you're really kicking yourself in the pants. Now, with 1 out, a double play would have got Peralta out of this jam and, of course, would have sealed the Yankee 5-4 win, but unfortunately not the case. So Peralta does his job, gets Bogaerts to hit a ball hard on the ground to Donaldson at third. Donaldson bobbles it momentarily, which then breaks up the opportunity for a double play. Now, if you look at the replay, I'm not saying it would have been guaranteed he could have gotten a double play. They would be able to turn 2 out of that one. But again, once he bobbled it, he had no shot at second base, so once he had the bobble, he ended up just throwing the ball right to first base. Gets Bogaerts at first, so now you have 2 outs, but now you got a situation where you have runners at second and third, where a single can score both runs, and then a 5-4 lead will turn into a 6-5 loss, and that's exactly what happened. And the man to do it was Alex Verdugo, who in the 8th inning tied the game up off of Clay Holmes, and again, he would be the hero of this game, pulling a ball, a fastball against the lefty Peralta into right field, and both Ruffsteiner and Downs scored easily, and Boston had a walk-off win, 6-5. Just a gut-wrenching loss for the Yankees. Again, having the lead twice, blowing it, and it was the first game, of the season for the New York Yankees, which again the bullpen's been absolutely fabulous. 47-0 when leading after 7 innings. That was now broken with that win by Boston, and of course, they're throwing the Gatorade around and jumping off like they won the World Series. I can't blame them. So I'm sure the Yankees have done the same thing. Now it brings the Yankees to Game 4, where at least for the Yankees, you're looking to redeem yourself. Jameson Taillon on the mound against Nick Pivetta, and they got the Pivetta quite early. Stanton hit a 2-run home run in the first inning, put the Yankees on the board 2-0. The Yankees would tack on a couple of more runs early in the game, thanks to Trevino with an RBI single in the second, as well as kind of Falefa with an RBI single of his own, scoring Aaron Hicks, and the Yankees taking an early 4-0 lead. And you figure, all right, we're back to normal, and yeah, Boston had a little fun last night, but we're just going to carry this game away. But unfortunately, Boston would climb back in this game. Cordero with a home run with a man on in the second inning, cut the lead from 4-0 now to 4-2. Now, Matt Carpenter answered right back with Rizzo on, hitting his 10th home run of the season, a 2-run home run. And just amazing with Carpenter, only 26 games this season, but already with 10 home runs, batting .344. Again, since the Yankees kind of picked them up from the Texas system, just, absolutely incredible what he's doing in his brief time. But unfortunately, the heroics for Carpenter were enough. Again, Yankees leading 6-2. You think it's the laughter, but from that point on, it was all Boston. Vasquez homering in the third inning. which cut the lead down to 6-3. And in the fifth inning, this is really where Boston really, took control of the game. And I don't know what about Boone. I don't know why he was sticking with Tyone. Clearly, he was fatiguing. Maybe he just wanted to get him across the fifth inning before going to the bullpen, but clearly should have gotten him out of there much sooner. And Christian Vasquez, would take him deep for a double, which then made it 6-4. And then at that point, you really like Boone. You're kind of staring at Boone. Take Tyone out of this game. There's a runner on with J.D. Martinez up, and Martinez obviously, not the fastest runner in the world, but still a dangerous bat. But he didn't need his feet on this one. Hitting a 2-run home run to right field at the point now, tying the game 6-6. And it's like, all right, it's like, what more you need to see? But it still leaves Tyone in there to finish out the inning. Fine, he doesn't give any runs. But again, going into the fifth inning, Yankees ahead 6-4. Tyone was definitely fatiguing. And I don't know why Boone stuck with him as long as he did. You go to J.P. Sears in that situation. He is stretched out enough to be a starter. So if you want someone to go 3 or 4 innings, Sears could have done that. But unfortunately, I don't know why Boone stuck with Tyone. Ended up blowing his face, blows the lead. Again, at one point in this game, Yankees up 6-2. But now after the fifth inning, tied 6-6. And then finally, Boone does go to the bullpen with one of our favorite Yankees, Aroldis Chapman, on the mound at Fenway Park, and you know how that looks like. Again, I'm not saying don't bring Chapman at all, but in a tied game at Fenway Park, we see always struggle, especially in the seventh inning. And I spoke about that in the previous podcast. Don't put a former closer in a situation he's just not used to and he's not comfortable with. And clearly, this was the case with Chapman. Now you blame DJ maybe a little bit. Chapman leading off for the single there. Now there was a pop up to the right field. Judge was running in. DJ was running out from second base. It was just like a perfectly placed fly ball. DJ tried to go over his head to catch it. It kind of bounced his glove a little bit, rolled off his wrist, and it led off with a Boston single. And then from there, Chapman walked a couple of runners, would end up loading the bases with nobody out. And you figure, oh my God, this game is just going to get out of hand. You're expecting the grand slam to come, or you expecting the Chapman to just like overthrow and just yank the ball and throw it into like the fifth row and all the runners that scored. Now, Jeter Downs would hit another pop-up to center field, and similar situation, kind of between center field and second base. DJ tries to run down and make a catch from the infield. Again, it's probably a situation where he should have backed off and let the outfielder running in would have a better opportunity at that ball, but ball just dunked in, kind of a perfect situation. But the Yankees were able to pick it up, throw it to second base again with bases loaded, at least get a force out at second base, so got one out of it. But unfortunately at that point, Boston taking the 7-6 lead. And then from there, Boston wouldn't look back. Now, Chapman did get an inning to his credit to only give up one run in that situation. You'll take that all the time. Chapman get a strikeout to get out of the jam. But again, Yankees relinquishing the lead. And then in the seventh, the Yankees went with Miguel Castro, and he just had absolutely no control. Also with a bases loaded situation. And Trevor Story, who Boston picked up in the offseason, big free agent signing, hits a double deep to center. That cleared the bags, and now at this point, Boston's up 6-10. Boston will add another run also in the seventh inning. Boston taking a commanding 11-6 lead, and that was it for the New York Yankees, and that's it for the game. And the Yankees will have to settle for a split in this 4-game set at Fenway Park. And again, just the way they lost the third game, and the way they had a big lead, a 6-2 lead in the fourth game, to blow that as well. It just kind of leaves a little pit in your stomach, and we'll see how this turns out. Is this going to be a rallying cry for the Boston Red Sox, where they're gonna kind of all come together and maybe go on a good run here and sort of chop down that lead in the AL East from the Yankees, or they're just gonna turn the page and just go back to the way they were before, where just being a barely a few games over 500. So even though they split the series, you really don't feel good about this. You don't feel any sort of any good takeaways, other than that the Yankees have to start looking at the starting pitching there. So many starters starting to get fatigued. And if so, what are they going to do about it? You see some more spot starts from Clark Schmidt, maybe from J.P. Sears. Do they, maybe have a couple more designed bullpen games? Because clearly, it seems like Tyone's last 2 starts not effective. Nestor Cortez, maybe he's tiring out a little bit. Severino, you haven't seen that hit from him yet, but again, you see kind of seeing little signs from that from Nestor and Tyone. So we'll see how the Yankees address that moving forward. But, not all to be sad. There is some good news in Yankee land. They did announce the roster for the upcoming All-Star game. Of course, Judge and, if you knew Judge would be voted in, but also Stanton will join him as a starter. So those 2 Yankees will be in the outfield to start the game. That's the first time since 1988 that 2 Yankee outfielders started the game. And that was, of course, for trivia time, Dave Winfield and Ricky Henderson. But also joining the Yankees will be Jose Trevino. Now he's not going to start the game. That'll be Alejandro Kirk from Toronto, and also Garrett Cole Again, who has 8 wins, having a good season. Just, a little problem with Rafael Devers, but nevertheless, he'll be joining them, as well as Clay Holmes and Nestor Cortez, who, again, he got roughed up in the second game against Boston. But overall, 7 wins himself and having a good season, a surprise season, becoming one of the funny, and feel-good characters of baseball. Just, the way he's kind of really come on the season. And Clay Holmes as well, who, again, coming on the scene out of nowhere. Again, we know he was good last season a little bit, and, after Cashman brought him here, but taking over Aroldis Chapman and is being one of the shutdown closers right now in the 2022 season. So those 6 Yankees will be going to the All-Star game. And, there was some now word that, multiple news outlets have been reporting that the Yankees kind of kicking the tires on Andrew Benintendi, who's the former Boston Red Sox, who's now with the Kansas City Royals. As a left field option, as we know, Joey Gallo, still struggling at the plate, still batting under 175. Now, he has 10 home runs with 22 RBIs. But again, let's say you take away those 10 home runs, already halfway in the season, you take away the home runs, he only has 11 RBIs. So struggling at the plate. We all knew this going in with him, but again, not making as much contact. So the Yankees possibly, again, looking to Benintendi there as an upgrade. Now, Benintendi's not really, Babe Ruth himself, but a good contact hitter, hitting .314, has 3 home runs. But I don't think it's a situation where the Yankees need home run power. I think they just need more contact power, and it's just too many strikeouts from Joey Gallo. Now, he has a good eye. He does walk a lot as well, but again, too many strikeouts, not going to opposite field enough. So the Yankees possibly might be looking to Kansas City there in a trade deal. Now, Benintendi, similar to Gallo, is on the last year of his current deal. So, it's not like you're stuck with the guy for the next 5 years, but obviously Kansas City, they're in a rebuild mode. They're going to be looking for prospects, so we'll see. And I'm sure other teams also in bidding for Benintendi. So that's the story of the Yankees right now. Right now they're stuck on, not say stuck, but on 61 wins. Had this road trip, and you can maybe look at that too a little bit. Again, this was quite a long road trip, 11 days on the road, and maybe, just gassed out a little bit in those final 2 games at Fenway. Not making excuses, but, you got to look at all the parameters about it. Now we'll come home and host the Cincinnati Reds, one of the worst teams in baseball. So if you want to kind of recoup a little bit, get back in your winning ways, the Cincinnati Reds, that's the team for you on that one. If you haven't done it already, make sure you subscribe to this podcast, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, wherever you listen to it. Subscribe, get these wrap-ups throughout the rest of the season, get my thoughts, feedback, and little whatnots. And it's exclusive only for you podcast subscribers, so make sure you subscribe. Have a great day.